Showtime. So I'm calling to meeting the 21 November Committee of the Environment of the City of Des Moines City Council. And my understanding, well, wait, we first have to approve the minutes from our last meeting. Do I have a motion to do so?
So moved.
Second.
Motion approved. Moving on to our sole big item of the day, the Source Control Environmental Committee update. Take it away, City of Des Moines.
Thank you, Chair. Tyler Beakley, Surface Water Manager. I'll introduce this item, and then Michael Posey here, our MPDS coordinator, will give the presentation of the item. So at a high level, this is a very important element of the program we do within the surface water utility. This is where we get engaged sort of the businesses of the community, and that's why we bring it to the Environment Committee, because there's an impact and a nexus with our business partners, with those who call Des Moines home for their businesses. So it's really where we get to build relationships, we get to build partnerships, we get to help our business partners protect the environment. And before I get into too many details, I will pass it over to Michael to cover the item.
Thank you, Tyler. Starting, you'll see on the document, I'm going to do a brief source control background, especially for those of us who weren't here. This was originally a requirement from our last permit cycle that went from 2019 to 2023. We're now in our new cycle, and it is continuing on. In 2022, we actually brought this to council, and the council approved an ordinance in which we could conduct source control inspections. And those source control inspections are broken down into behavioral, BMPs, which is best management practices, and structural. And an example of that for behavioral is examples like we want to see these businesses close the dumpsters. We want them ideally to have a spill kit, so if something was to go wrong, they weren't panicking. They could address it immediately. And then structural BMPs, such as if there is an issue of pollutants, we want to see them have some sort of insert in their catch basin. Again, spill kits to capture and contain pollutants instead of entering our system and potentially the Puget Sound. And each year we like to find around 20%, or no, I guess the number is 20% of our businesses in Des Moines that qualify for these inspections. And this year we identified 35. Since the down on like Marine View Drive downtown is so dense with businesses, similar to 2023, we decided to tackle more of those businesses, just more because we're familiar with the area, and also word of mouth. A lot of these businesses talk to one another, and so it's a nice introduction. Instead of surprising them, they know we're coming. Similar to last year, we partnered with BEA Environmental, who were experts in the field of source control. They provided our city staff with training. They also conducted most of these inspections for us. And of those 35 businesses, 40 total inspections were conducted, which meet our requirement for the city of Des Moines. Some of the items that, some of the items that these businesses did receive are stickers, keep the lid shut stickers. Ideally, it would be a helpful reminder that we'd like to see them close their dumpsters. Also, you might see around the city, there's a bunch of Puget Sound Starts Here stencils. We have a program in the city which encourages volunteers to come and mark all the public catch basins, but we don't necessarily provide that for private catchments. This program is a really good way to an inlet for businesses to mark their own private facilities, just to remind themselves and also people who use their businesses that whatever goes down these drains will go to the Puget Sound. So we were happy to apply 46 of those markers for the businesses. Additionally, 23 of these businesses received their first spill kits. We've had a spill kit program running for, I want to say, over 10 years at the city. 23 of these businesses either had their spill kits restocked or was their first one. So that's good. In addition, as the first year, we actually provided spill response training. We targeted restaurants specifically who have staff above 5, and we use that as a part of our behavior change program as well, just to make sure that not only did they learn what to do if a spill was to happen, but when we came back and followed up, they remembered. From these businesses, we were very happy to see that a lot were already in compliance, but there were some action items that needed to be taken on. A lot of them were cleaning. Like we noticed a lot of the restaurants had containment issues around their dumpsters. A lot of them who deep fry items, they would store their oils just sitting on the ground, not in secondary containment or undercover. Also, some of the catch basins had debris. A lot of them didn't know that they needed to be responsible. A lot of the business owners didn't know they needed to be responsible for cleaning the catch basins. And so we made sure that was taken care of. And I kept this paragraph in from last year since it rang true this year. Everyone was very optimistic and emphasized a lot of gratitude that we didn't know a lot of these. A lot of these individuals didn't know that the storm drains ran to Puget Sound. They thought we had a sewer system. So instead of not wanting to comply with why we were trying to help them, they were happy to comply. And so we were enthusiastic about that. And a big item leading into next year is I'm happy to report that a source control program is going to now be an in-house item, or an in-house program. And so we'll no longer have to rely on external consultants like BEA Environmental. We've put our staff through essential training that has taught them what to look for, how to engage, and how to follow up with these businesses. And so the city is committed to upholding the same level of service and regulatory compliance previously provided by BEA Environmental. And with city staff now leading source control inspections, businesses can expect a continuation of support, resources, and guidance in preventing pollutants at their facilities. And this approach will reinforce the city's commitment to local environmental stewardship and efficient resource management. And so we have a few new ideas for this next year, especially as we go to different areas of the city who aren't familiar with source control, doing initial letters, letting them to know this is what to expect in the next few months, going in as a group maybe, or as an inspector and an administrator, and meeting the owner, creating a repertoire, and then going to town and seeing what needs to be done. So hopefully I have that same paragraph in here next year, that everyone was enthusiastic, and that's what's to come, and that's what I have.
Yeah, small note to add on my end. So with bringing them in-house in 2025, there's an opportunity to offset those costs. We hired a additional surface water technician in August. That role will help do the source control inspections in-house. So as far as capacity, we're not losing elsewhere in the city by shifting staff to take this on. We're taking those consultant fees, bringing those offset to now in-house within our surface water utility. That's only a clarification I wanted to add there.
Just kind of in closing, I think Michael did a great job, but there's three kind of points that I'd like to point out about the stormwater program. First, and it's a message that I think the council and when you guys are out in the public talking to everyone, one of the hardest things to educate the public on is that our storm drains don't go, we are not a combined system. We are a separate system. Tacoma had the same issue where we were a separate system. And so that means that our stormwater goes directly into Puget Sound in most cases. And we have a lot of people that move around and don't know that, and so they think the sewer is going to a treatment plant being treated before discharge. Not the case. So continuing to help spread that message, that's really important for our populace to know, and it's also a very difficult message to get across. People don't put those two together. They just think it's going to get taken care of if it goes in the ground. It's been my experience that when source control agents are part of an in-house agency, like what we've just recently done, that relationships are built long-term with the businesses over time, and that, you know, education and partnership is a much better way to get water quality improvement than punitive damages and fines and all the other things that we can do under our MPDS permit. And so having staff in-house do this and build those relationships with our businesses and those partnerships, I think, is really crucial. The third thing I would leave you with is that phase 2 permits, such as Des Moines, are moving more and more towards phase 1. So these are just going to get more and more stringent over time, And so it's good that we bring our businesses along in a nice steady pace rather than a big sharp climb. And so I think that the staff in-house is going to have a really great improvement to do that. So those are my 3 points on it.
Excellent points they are. Colleagues, do you have questions, comments?
So this is dealing with the business component. What are we doing as far as the general public? And various areas have projects about, marking drains, saying, this goes directly into sounds, that sort of thing. Do we have a parallel component going on?
I'll hand that over to Tyler, but we do a lot of different things like Stormfest, and he could go on all day.
Exactly. It doesn't look the same. We're not going to people's homes and walking around their property and pointing at different pieces of where they might be polluting the environment. But it does come through city currents, social media, getting general awareness of septic system, pet waste, how they're disposing of their yard waste or their chemicals on site, and how to do that appropriately. We also do stewardship campaigns for citywide cleanups. We do beach events or partner with beach events or Zero Poo King County initiatives. Stormfest is another one. And then also like the storm drain marking, which you referenced, is we don't mark any drain ourselves. That is all volunteers in the city. If you see a marker on a basin, that's a volunteer who did that, a part of our community member. You want to talk briefly about Adopt a Drain? That's a new one.
Sure. I think we talked about it briefly at another committee meeting, but recently we brought Adopt a Drain. It's another kind of similar to the storm drain marker. Each citizen, actually this citizen, has the opportunity to adopt a drain, and a fun thing they can do is name it. Are you see Sir Drains a lot? Is that you? Okay. Yeah, they can name their drain. Every time the citizen cleans the drain, it gets the data gets collected, and we get to report it to Ecology. But it's similar. It's another fun way that the community can get involved and also assist our maintenance team. We only have 6 maintenance members in stormwater who are responsible for a lot. Over 5,000 catch basins, and that doesn't even count our water quality facilities. So, yeah.
Thanks.
Please.
Back to the business program, could you tell us more about the 35 businesses that you did visit? How many of them were here in the marina area? How many were on the highway? Did you get all the way down to like the plaza on 272nd? Those kind of things.
I'll look to you.
A lot of the municipalities I've talked to, they're going about this program a lot very differently. Like SeaTac, they're just targeting gas stations this year. I know Burien targeted restaurants. We have a requirement within our, is it the SMAP?
Yes, our basin plan.
Where we have to, of those 40 businesses, we have to inspect 20% within the lower Massey Creek basin. So that restricts us. I mean, that's only 4 of the 40, or no, 8 of the 40. But the way I'm choosing to do this, and with help from BEA Environmental, is we're just targeting the marina, the downtown district, and then I'm open to where we can go next. I think Pack Highway will be a big emphasis next, since there is another centralized hub up there around 223rd. And there's no precise way, there's no rules on how we go about this, but that's just what we're currently doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, you answered one of my questions, which has to do with effort. You put in so much time, rotating around and with the different catchments and so on. And but we have plenty of capacity to do this. Is it? Let's see here. A couple of things. So are you going to? So none of the cities like rotate, meaning they eventually get around to every geography. They target different industries every year, or is that your? I guess, in other words, is there like a 5-year or pick a number cycle where you're guaranteed to catch every business or every geography of the area of the city.
So
Does that make sense what I'm asking?
the mandate from ecology is that we just inspect 20% of the businesses in the city every year. And they don't have a long-term goal that you have to reach 100% in 5 years or anything like that. Now, internally, we make that decision, and I think it is an internal goal. It's not pen to paper yet, but to reach 100% of pollution-generating businesses in probably a 4-year, 5-year timeline.
Okay.
So we're making sure we're hitting at least every business once that's considered pollution-generating.
I'm just struck by, like, with McSorley Creek, for example, just that it, you know, it goes east quite a bit,
Mhm.
and I'm just, I don't know how much activity there is, but, I just look on the back highway and I see it all ends up in the same spot, so I'm just hoping we're focusing on that stuff, on everything and not just, the greatest hits all the time. And to that point, can you, maybe this is an offline thing, but is there a discussion with Kent, given the unique border we have and their, how their businesses contribute to this stuff? I mean, are we all, everybody's good partners in this quest?
Within my purview, yes. I haven't seen any issue. There's a few crossover, with surface water connections, or where McSorley Creek crosses into Des Moines, where we've worked with Kent, and like tracked a spill up creek that went into the wetland area or something like that. We've always had a good relationship with them. I kind of hear your question is a larger question about maybe boundary.
The larger question
Yeah.
is like the corner of Kent, Des Moines, and Pack Highway,
Yes.
okay? And just making sure that somebody is, doing a test every once in a while and making sure it's all.
It is very clear which jurisdiction handles which infrastructure. That's all on their map and our map. Every asset is mapped and it's labeled who's responsible.
Okay, and
Yep.
that's never been any kind of, everybody's.
Not in the stormwater world.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay, good.
Yep.
And let's see, two other quick things. You talk a lot about the restaurants, and that sort of thing. Is there any plan, or has there been work at places like the business park? I see it as it expands, becoming more and more of something, just to keep an eye on if eventually there's some form of manufacturing or whatever. I'm not saying you're not, I just don't know.
Yeah, so it comes down to Department of Ecology's definition of a pollution-generating business. And those are the obvious ones: gas stations, restaurants, anyone dealing with any nexus. So a good example of what's not is like chiropractor offices, banks. They're more just transactional, public, are coming in and out. So looking at the business park, off the top of my head, I believe there are a few on that list that meet that definition. I don't know if I can recall those off the top of my head. I think there's food manufacturing
Yeah.
business, and that's on our list.
Right.
So it is kind of piecemeal. Not all the businesses in the business park are on that list. Like I don't think the
Yeah.
snowboard.
I'm not trying to name
Yes.
them. I remember at one time there was like a pharmacology
Mhm.
company and
Mhm.
so forth, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe once in a while.
Councilmember, with regards to, or Chair, with regards to the business parks, a lot of it is large parking, large trucking,
Yeah.
in and out trucking.
Yeah.
And a lot of those designs have best management practices for stormwater already built into them, so they'll have parking lot, water quality, and all of those built into the original design. So we do have to check on those also. So there's not only the pollution, not only the pollution industry, but there's the existing facilities that they've built and maintained that we need to make sure are maintained and working correctly.
An excellent answer. The only other thing I will just, every year I plea that we update our website and make the spill response link and phone number more prominent. And that's really all I got. Any other questions, comments before we wrap this up?
I have one more item of business separate from this item, which is just to look forward to December. Currently, there's nothing on the work plan at the staff level, and just wanted to bring that to attention if there was a discussion to be had about December.
I actually have two things, but I want the assent of my colleagues. First of all, UW, the air quality monitoring people have asked to give a little presentation about their work, and if you're amenable, I would like to have them come in for that. And I was also hoping that I watched with great interest the Green Streets presentation today, and I don't want to reinvent the wheel, but that looks like a fairly significant project in terms of water quality and so forth, and if there was any further information just specific to, well, not to put too fine a point on it, but financing it through the SWIM fund, I would just like any information you could provide. We're both cool with that? Okay, very good.
So Chair, would you want that to come back to committee as an item, or would you want us to produce just a report, a written report for the committee?
I don't want to take, a bunch of time, but if you have something new, that would be, that would be good. Otherwise,
We could produce, I just want to make sure I'm understanding the question. So we could produce a document that says elements in a complete street
yeah,
that SWIM could be participating in,
yeah.
and then we could just.
Is that easy to tease out?
Yeah, we could figure that out, just
Yeah.
provide that document at one of the future
Yeah,
meetings.
I would just like you to be available to
Okay.
answer questions
Yeah.
on the fly. I'm not asking for
We
a show.
can provide it that way.
Okay, groovy. So with that, unless we have further comments, questions, then I would entertain a motion to close this meeting.
I move we adjourn.
We're out of here. Thank you so much.